Hi and welcome to another year on the road. This time we are touring the Castlemartin Range, which is a military range in South Pembrokeshire. We had to do a bus tour because a lot of it isn't available to the public. This is St Govan's Head where it started. As long as they're not actually firing, you can visit this section, and there is a little car park, and that's St Govan's Chapel. Again, if they're not firing, you can visit it. It's at the bottom of a little cliff, and it was a lovely little spot, really popular.
And there was loads of unexploded bombs and things lying around.
That's in the closed section. This is the view from St Govan's.
There was bullets and stuff down there, wasn't there?
Yeah. You do have to be careful and not touch anything that you shouldn't. But there you can see the view, which is beautiful. That's inside the little chapel. Apparently somebody did live in it, or near it, part of it.
But they moved out because they couldn't get Wi-Fi.
You can see there the sign for the thing. Here's some more of the view.
Jumped that.
Yeah, apparently a horse once jumped that. The horse made it, but unfortunately the owner died because they had a heart attack when they realised. You can see why. It's quite a drop. And here we've got the Cold Run, which I think is still just about on the edge where you can visit without the permit. It's actually much taller and bigger than it looks on the video. It was absolutely beautiful. There, the person's leg gives you some idea of the scale.
Did you do that on purpose?
What,
so
zoom
people
in?
could get
Scale.
scale out of it, yeah.
Yeah. Of course. There you can see the seawater rushing in and out of it. It's not actually completely round. You can't walk around it. You can only walk so far, and then you've got to walk back on yourself. And there you see another person for scale. And you can see how far the drop is. As you can see, I'm a bit wary of edges. I always assume they're about to collapse.
Especially when I'm behind you.
And here we've got Flintstone Chapel and Farm. This is the farm.
It was written on it.
As you can see, it's a ruin. It's because it was actually taken over by the military during the Second World War.
MOD.
The MOD, for tanks. And to this day it is a tank range. And they pretty much kicked off all the tenant farmers so they could use the tanks.
And used it as a firing range.
Yes.
Blew it up.
Yeah. But as you can see in its day, it must have been a pretty prosperous place. I'm saying second, was it the First World War?
Don't know.
I've lost my wars. But anyway, it was took over for training tank drivers. And then they eventually compulsory purchased it from the owners who also owned Stackpole. Or owned. As you can see, though, beautiful quiet spot. I would imagine they were sad to leave. The little chapel itself is still actually used in the summer for services, I think every couple of weeks. The farm was locked, so I assume only guided tours could get into it. After the farm, we looked in the chapel. You can see it's a lovely little chapel.
Amen.
And here it is inside. Lots of beautiful stained glass windows. I believe it was actually recommissioned by the family at some stage because it had fell out of use. and lots of things were donated to it. Here you can see the little graveyard that's attached. That's the family grave of the same family who owned the farm. And now this is the west section of Castlemartin itself, and around here there was quite a lot of bullets and unexploded metal things. This part was also really good for fossils. As you can see, it was again a long way down. There's a person stood at the top. But it was great for fossils, and we ate some samphire, didn't we, along there? As you can see, you've got to be careful of your footing, but it was well worth the walk. It was beautiful. This is the climb back up the hill. With me out of breath and Stephen just strolling away before me.
Doesn't look as steep as all
And
it is.
there in the picture you can see a bullet. No, it doesn't look as steep in the photo, does it? In the video. This is a bit further along. I believe it was called Pennyholt Stack. You can see all the different rock formations that have formed over the thousands and thousands of years. Again, it was a really beautiful spot. We were lucky enough that we were on a guided tour through Pembrokeshire Coastal Park, and they had permission obviously to go around the area. And here you can see us on the little coach. There was about 10 or 12 of us.
Minibus.
Yeah, little minibus, about 10 or 12 of us. 2 guides to keep an eye on us and tell us a bit about the local area and the history of the place. There you can see another landslip.
And the guide was really boring, wasn't he?
Oh, I thought it was quite interesting. And there you can see another rock formation, looks like a horse drinking.
Mm-hmm.
From a distance. And you can see all the different rocks with the pointy stack rock in the distance with his dodgy nose. Just strange the way they're all flattened down, aren't they, in layers. As you can see, we were lucky with the weather. It was cloudy, but it wasn't too bad. It kept dry all day, which we were pretty pleased about. A little bit windy, but not too bad at all. This is another little bay up towards Linney Head. This one was stopped at because there were seals. You can just about see them in the water and on the beach. They look like rocks. Until you zoom in and go, there's the seals. And even though we're from Northumberland and we've seen lots of seals, still make you smile. There's one with its baby. It is pupping season.
That one in the middle is really still in it.
I will say we were right at the top of the cliff, so we didn't disturb them. That one's thinking about braving the water. Doesn't look quite sure about it. Being as it was quite choppy and rocky, I don't quite blame it. But it is a beautiful spot. There you can just about see one swimming in the sea.
No.
And a few more on the beach. There he is, enjoying the waves. camera works a little bit shaky because it was well zoomed in. And here's the bay from another angle. And there's an even younger baby. Still got all his white fluffy fur, so his mum will probably be trying to keep him out of the sea to keep him dry. You can just see his mum in front of him further along. She's probably off to get some fish. And there you can admire happy smiling seal. And here we have Brown Slade Farm. It was another abandoned farm on the range. And then finally our favourite bit, which was the drowned mill, or Frains Lake Mill. It was drowned because the military rechanged the path further up so they could get tanks on up from the beach. As you can see, it was a beautiful, peaceful spot, and the mill is indeed drowned. It was your favourite, wasn't it?
Yeah, but there was no fishing there, was there? And you weren't allowed to fish.
Not. No, you wouldn't have been allowed to fish anyway. Although you can actually get a permit to see fish on the range. They give you a talk. And that's it. Thank you for watching.